I'm gonna say what no realtor is supposed to say, and that is, this needs to stop. Hey everybody, Will Campbell here with the Campbell Group in Royal LePage Atlantic. And in this video, we are gonna go over the market stats. We're gonna take a look at what's happening in the real estate market in Halifax in the month of January, and we're gonna compare that to what happened in the previous months. If you've talked to a real estate agent over the past few months, you've probably heard them talk about the increase of home prices over the past few years. And for the most part, I consider it a good thing. You know, it's good that home values are climbing. And if you ask me, Halifax, compared to other cities in Canada, has been undervalued for a long time. And that price is finally starting to catch up with the rest of the country. But how much is too much? In the standard market, we typically see anywhere from about 2 to 3% growth naturally. That means without any external factors being taken in, property values typically will appreciate 2 to 3% a year. Now that's the standard, but that hasn't been the case in Halifax for quite a while. Last year alone, we had almost a 30% increase year over year. And the year before that, it was something around 20%. Now that brings up the question, is this sustainable? And if you ask me, yes, it is. I think that Halifax was severely underpriced, and I think that these increases in value are basically Halifax just kind of catching up to where it should have been. But how much growth is too much growth, and when should we start to be nervous? Well, if you ask me, now is the time to be nervous. We've finally reached a point where inventory is so low that it's becoming a serious problem. But let me give you some perspective. In the month of December, there were 226 detached homes that sold, and they averaged a price of $533,933. Now, fast forward 1 month later, there have been 115 detached homes that have sold so far in the month of January, and those detached home sales average a price of $621,730. That means that the average cost of a detached home was 16% more expensive in the month of January than it was in the month of December. Now let's look at semi-detached homes. In the month of December, there were 47 semi-detached homes to sell in Halifax. They sold for an average of $389,139. Fast forward to January, there have been 21 semi-detached homes to sell in Halifax, and they average a cost of $430,260. Is this a good thing? Well, if you ask me, no, it's not. I don't think Halifax can sustain a monthly increase in value of 16%. And if you apply this to the future, that means that detached homes are gonna be somewhere around $800,000 by June. There's an obvious solution to this, but it's not easy, and that is build more houses. But even if we put shovels in the dirt today, we wouldn't fix this problem by June. And I don't think that Halifax can afford to have the average price of a detached home be upwards of $800,000 this year. We do have one saving grace though, and that is potential interest rate hikes. Now, not a lot of people understand fully what impact interest rate hikes do have on the real estate market, but let me just try to explain it this way. There are a lot of people that hold real estate as an investment, and a lot of these investments run skinny. And what I mean by that is once you collect your income and once you pay all your bills, you're left with a very, very small amount of money, if any. What an interest rate hike could potentially do to investors is take them from running skinny to running negative. And although some of these investors may be able to afford running their property at a loss, not all of them can. So what an interest rate hike will do is it will force some investor to list their properties for sale, thus increasing the supply and helping offset the demand a little bit, making it easier and less expensive for people to buy homes. Now on the flip side of that, what it will do is it will decrease your buying power. And what I mean by that is, and these aren't hard numbers, I'm just using this as an example, but let's just say you had a pre-approval for $500,000. If there's a significant interest rate hike, there's a chance that once that hike comes into effect, you may only be approved for $475,000. And you're not the only one in that boat. Therefore, meaning the potential buyers for a $500,000 property, that pool is gonna shrink. What it will do immediately though, is it will force buyers to act with even more haste than they have been acting with. And the reason for that is people have pre-approvals done that are guaranteed for a certain amount of time. So most pre-approvals are guaranteed for 90 to 120 days. And what that means is once the bank approves you at a certain rate, they will guarantee that rate for that amount of time. Now, what it will do is because buyers are experiencing timeframes of home buying upwards of 6 months, is they will be more aggressive with their offers because they really want to secure something before their new rate comes into effect and it becomes even more difficult to find a property. So what should you look for if you're a buyer? You should look for a potential interest rate hike and you should watch for it. The minute that it's announced, you will see an uptick in activity, so it will seem like the hike in interest rate actually hurt you. But then what you'll notice is 90 to 20 days after that hike, the demand will start to settle down and the certain price ranges will become less competitive. What should you look for if you're a seller? Well, a potential interest rate hike may mean that there are less people that can afford your house. So if your house is worth $600,000 and there are 1,000 people that are qualified to buy a house of that price, then once an interest rate hike takes account, there may only be 850. And from a microeconomic standpoint, the fewer buyers, potential buyers you have for your property, the less money you're gonna get for it. So if you're a seller and you're looking at either downgrading, upgrading, or making a lateral move, do it now. There's never been a better time to sell, and you still have an opportunity to get the house that you're looking for at a reasonable price. If you're a seller and you're looking to exit the housing market and you're just trying to time it perfectly, hold on to your property for at least another year. I think the odds that we don't see at least another 10% growth this year are few and far between. If you're a first-time home buyer looking to enter the housing market, buy now. Do not wait until the spring. By the spring, houses will be significantly more expensive than they are now. That's gonna do it for today's video. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I know that everything I went over doesn't make it seem super optimistic for a lot of people out there that have the dream of becoming a homeowner in the near future. But I promise you, if you keep your head down and keep your feet moving, you will be able to find something this year.